Launched at the turn of the century, the second-generation Renault Laguna quickly climbed into the top 5 sales leaders in Europe among classmates, cars in the D segment. The secret of the success of this model lay on the surface. A solid, French-style, beautiful car was sold for relatively little money. In addition, bonuses were relied upon, a high level of equipment and of metal for passive safety. In 2001, Laguna II was the first in the world in its class to receive 5 stars in the EPO and CAP rating. The first Laguna appeared at the end of 1993. At first, it was produced in a hatchback body, and 2 years later, sales of the Nevada station wagon, Grand Tour, began. For the model, a wide range of power units was offered: gasoline, 1.6L, 107 horsepower, 1.8L, 90 to 120 horsepower, 2.0L, 113 horsepower, 2.0L, 140 horsepower, 3.0-liter V6, 167 to 190 horsepower, and 3 diesel engines, atmospheric 2.2L, 83 horsepower. He is turbocharged, 113 horsepower, as well as a 1.9 turbo diesel, 98 horsepower. In 1998, a restyling was carried out. The list of equipment expanded. The release of Laguna I continued until 2000, when the second generation appeared. The car, as before, was produced in a hatchback and station wagon body and was equipped with gasoline engines, 1.6L, 107 horsepower, and 1.8L, 120 horsepower, 2.0L, 135 horsepower, 2.0 IDE with 140 horsepower, its turbocharged 163 horsepower variant, and a 3.0-liter V6 with 207 horsepower, as well as 2 DTI 1.9 turbo diesels, 120 horsepower, and 2.2, 150 HP. The motors were aggregated with 2 mechanical gearboxes, 5-speed and 6-speed, and 2 automatic transmissions, 4 and 5-band. In the spring of 2005, the model underwent restyling: bumpers, lighting equipment, radiator grille changed, the engine line was noticeably updated. The interior has been redesigned, and a remote control for secondary functions, similar to BMW's iDrive system, has been added to the options list. 2 years later, the third-generation Laguna appeared. Body. The model was produced with 2 bodies, a 5-door hatchback and station wagon, but with some features. The first looked more like a sedan with a short, sports trunk than the usual 5-door car. The second one was more like not an ordinary barn with a long high tail, but a slightly stretched, visually devoid of heaviness hatchback. The difference in the volume of their trunks is only 50 liters, 430 and 480 liters, respectively. And there is one more important consumer difference between these bodies: the sloping roof in the hatchback somewhat limits the growth of rear seat passengers. Nevertheless, in both versions, the interior is quite spacious and corresponds to the class of the car. There are enough secret containers inside, drawers under the front seats, as well as boxes in the front and rear armrests. The trunk can be equipped with a net for things and a protective grille behind the back of the rear seat. The Laguna uses the Renault card system. The traditional ignition key is replaced by an electronic chip card. In order to start the engine, you need to insert an electronic key, similar to a credit card, into the corresponding slot, and the security system will be unlocked. To start the engine, press the start button located to the right of the steering wheel. So long. In rich trim levels, the key capabilities are expanded. In the hands-free mode, the locks lock and unlock automatically. The control unit reacts to the presence of the card in close proximity to the car, but it is enough to move a few meters away with the card in your pocket, and the automation itself will close the doors. However, in case of electronics failure or battery discharge, it is possible to open the doors mechanically. A regular key is hidden inside the card, which is inserted into the door lock cylinder, closed from prying eyes and falling dirt with a decorative plug. In the basic equipment, cars supplied to our market have 2 steering column adjustments, for reach and tilt angle, 6 airbags, ABS with pre-brake and brake force redistribution system, air conditioning, front electric windows, side mirrors with electric drive and heating, adjustable according to driver's seat height, and power steering with variable gain. In the maximum configuration, separate climate control, leather interior, Zeppon headlights, a rain sensor, parking sensors, electric front seat adjustments, and even navigation are possible. There is also a modern tire pressure monitoring system. The the data of which is displayed on a special information board. However, this option was not provided for cars in the Russian configuration, although the indicator was present. However, if desired, this convenient accessory can be installed, which will cost about 30,000 rubles from official dealers, of which more than two-thirds is a set of necessary components, wheel sensors, an electronics unit, and wiring cables. In addition to the energy-absorbing power frame of the body and airbags, a folding pedal assembly and a double pretensioner of the driver's belt are ready to join the fight for the life and health of people in the cabin at the time of the accident. As a preventive measure in everyday life, ESP is offered as an option, and without fail, the Laguna is equipped with the centralized child locking of the rear door locks, a button located on the driver's armrest, an ISOFIX child seat attachment, and a switchable passenger airbag. The regular audio system is also protected, so when buying a used copy, you must definitely ask the owner for the code. After disconnecting the battery or when the CC is discharged, it will have to be re-entered. However, if the code is lost forever, the official VIN dealer can restore it. Engine. For the model, gasoline engines of 1.6 liters, 107 horsepower. Since 2005, 112 horsepower, 1.8 liters, 120 horsepower were offered. Until 2005, and 116 horsepower, 2003 to 2004, as well as engines with direct fuel injection of the 2.0 IDE series, 140 horsepower, 2000 to 2005, 135 horsepower, since 2003, and turbocharged versions of 163 horsepower, until 2005, 170 horsepower, 2005 to 2006, 173 horsepower, 2007, 204 HP, since 2005. The flagship modifications were equipped with a 3-liter V6 with a capacity of 207 horsepower, since 2005, 210 horsepower, which, with minor changes, is installed on large Citroën and Peugeot. There are also turbo diesels of the DTI series, 1.9 liters, 105, 107.120 horsepower, since 2005, 110 and 130 horsepower, and 2.2, 150 horsepower. 139 horsepower was added in 2005, and in 2007, 173 horsepower. Transmission. 2 manual transmissions are offered for the model, a 5-speed and 6-speed for turbo diesel and turbocharged gasoline versions, as well as an adaptive 4-band automatic, and for the most powerful modifications, a 5-band one. Cars equipped only with 1.8 and 2.0-liter gasoline engines were supplied to our market. Their power system is tuned to 90-second gasoline, and a winter package is also installed, a more powerful battery, antifreeze with a lower freezing point, and a mudguard in the engine compartment. In general, engines with appropriate maintenance and operation are quite reliable, but spark plugs often do not reach the planned maintenance, once every 15,000 kilometers. Often, cars are sold with a mileage that is a multiple of 60,000 kilometers. This is due to the fact that the old owner wants to save money on replacing the timing belt and a large MOT. Suspension. Front suspension, McPherson strut. Its design differences from the one on the first generation are minimal, except that lighter material is used for the levers. But at the rear, the place of the torsion bars was taken by a spring suspension with a twisted beam on trailing arms. Both front and rear are anti-roll bars. The suspension provides the car with a smooth, comfortable ride, slight rolls and corners, but there is no need to talk about the perfect handling of the Laguna. This is a typical family car that does not have a sporty character. Adapted specimens are equipped with the suspension for bad roads, but even with this in mind, Laguna feels bad on our country road. The ground clearance of 125 millimeters is not enough. The rear suspension does not cause problems for the owner for a long time, but the front requires repair work more often. The front shock absorbers on the cars of the first batches supplied to Russia could not withstand even 40,000 kilometers, and if this happened during the warranty period, they were changed free of charge. With a run of 60 to 80,000 kilometers, the turn of the lower levers and front stabilizer struts comes. Brake system. In the brake system with all disc and brakes, there are cases of wedging of the rear wheel supports due to dirt getting into the mechanisms. In the ABS system, the sensors do not withstand close contact with reagents well, and after 2 or more years they may fail.